Hello everybody, this is a short video on how to download MySQL server. First thing you do is type MySQL in the Google search, MySQL. And then you want to go to the official website of oraclemysql.com. You go to downloads, and then you scroll down all the way to the bottom. Then you look for MyGPL Community GPL downloads, you click on it. And then you look for MySQL install for Windows. By the way, this video is for Windows, whether it's 10 or 11, not for macOS. Click on it, and then here, Microsoft Windows. You have two options. You can go download the one that has the server, the Workbench, but it wouldn't have a few more features. But if you only need Workbench, MySQL, and the shell, then this one should be good enough. And if you have an internet connection, this one good enough. So if you are planning to work offline and you need more features, then you can go ahead and download the second one. So I'm gonna go ahead and click this one, and then I'm not gonna log in. I can just go to no thanks, start my download, click on it, and the download is gonna start. When the download is complete, you go ahead and click open. Okay. And it's gonna prepare for the installation. You might get a warning message if you want to allow this program to download this application or software, then click yes to complete the download. So most often it will say allow this app to make changes to your device, so basically you say yes. There are a few options here. Developer or the full version are the most common one, or you can just do the custom one. For this one, I'm gonna do a custom, and then I'm gonna pick and choose what I want to download. Again, since I did a custom download, I'm gonna pick and choose whatever I want to download. So I have the MySQL server here. I'm gonna pick this one, and then for the applications, I will if it's not broken down, you can click on the plus sign, and then you look for the Workbench, add it, and then last is the shell. Okay, the MySQL server application connectors. This is the documentation. I'm looking for the shell. Okay, Microsoft Shell 8.0. Alright, it's right here, and that's it. So I don't need to download the router and the connectors and the documentation. So this is good enough. Alright, click next. So this is what I need to download, and it will sometimes you will get an error message, for example, that you need the Microsoft C++ as a requirement. So if you haven't installed this one beforehand, you can go ahead and do that to install it. Okay. Here it gives you the requirement, the Microsoft Visual C++, which if you type this one in Google, you can download it. Either you can do it beforehand or while you're doing the download, or you can MySQL can do it automatically for you. So I'm going to click on execute, and then it should download this one for me as well. If not, here we go, the Visual Studio. If it does not, for any reason, if it's not showing that message, you can go ahead and do it manually. Click on agree the license agreement. Okay. Setup successful. Close. And this is good. Installation is done. So if you want to bring this one like this, installation done, and then go to next. Ready to install for all three: server, Workbench, and the shell. Execute. Okay, the shell will be the last one to download. So here you can see the status. Everything has been completed successfully. So I'm gonna click on next. Ready to configure. That's the status, and then next. And then here I'm gonna leave the default, the TCP/IP, and then I'm gonna pick a username and a password, or a password rather. Use a strong password, and the next step recommended. And then I click next, and then here the password. I'm gonna pick one. Just the same password, you're gonna retype it. You can add users if you wish to do so. It's giving me an error. The password of the root account, please remember to store this password in a secure place. Okay, so I redid my password. It's a little bit weak, but that's fine. I'm going to be the only one using this one in my personal computer. Next, again, I'm going to just leave the default standard system account. Next, and execute. Those are the configuration steps. Basically, it's writing the configuration file, updating Windows Firewall, adjusting Windows Server. This one usually takes a longer time than the previous steps. Initializing database. Then it's going to start the server, applying security settings, and updating the start menu, the start menu link. Okay, the configuration has been completed. I'm going to click Finish. Next. As you can see here, configuration complete. Next. I don't have to copy the log to clipboard, so I'm going to start MySql Workbench after the setup and the shell. Okay, finish. Okay, so here MySql Workbench has been opened automatically. Since at the end of the installation, that's what we recommended. We asked the installation to do. If you want to log into the server, you can do so from here. If you are just building an ERD, you don't have to log in. You can just click on this icon here. So go ahead. Let's go ahead and log into the server. Password. It's very important that you don't forget the password. So here you have the server status. You can check if it's running or not. If you click on it, this one here, you can hide this window here. You can do it by clicking on this one, this option. As you can see, the server is running. If not, then you can just click on Run the server so you can start running. And you have this option here, the Startup Shutdown from here. So you can stop the server running right here. Okay. But when we click on the server status, it's already running, so we don't have to do that. Now, if you want to start typing to create, for example, a database, we can do it from here, from this window. Okay. Like create database someone, and then semicolon, and then we can run the database, run the query rather, and let's see, what is the schema? I'm sorry. Yeah, this tab here is the one that shows the schemas. As you can see, after I run this one is not showing because I need to refresh my window for it to show. So how I can do that? If I go to schemas, refresh, and then you can see the database Hassan1 has been created. Okay, create database Hassan1 is right here, together with the system. Now there is a database that you can download to practice, Sakila. And there will be another video to show you how to download Sakila to use it, as a practice. Now, if it happens and you had a problem with your download, what you can do is you can go back to the download, and then you can delete the version of MySql that you downloaded previously, and then download the new one. And the way you can do it is you can go to the search upwiz.cpl, and then you can look for MySql in the search right here, MySql, programs and features. So MySql, and then what you do is uninstall all of them, right? That's if you were not able to successfully download MySql. So it's recommended that you download, you uninstall all of them, and then you start from scratch. And if you were having problem with, for example, if you were trying to download this one and that's the one you had an issue with, then it's recommended that you try the second one. instead of the first one. Again, as you saw earlier, we had to download the C++ Microsoft, I forgot the name, what it's called, but that's basically one of the requirements for installing MySql. It should be done automatically as we did in the process, but if not, then you can always do it manually. Okay, I hope that was very helpful. One more thing, again, like I said earlier, if you are not, if you don't want to log in to the server, and you just want to build an ERD, for example, you don't have to click on local instance. You can just click on this icon here, and then you click on a new model. So here I have the Sakila, but instead I'm just going to cancel and click on a new model. Let me close this one, because I want to do it from the beginning. So the ERD diagram, you can add a diagram from here, or you can do it from the first window, like add a new. I'm going to go back and do it here. So right here you can click on a new, or even if you click, for example, on another one, you can always go to new and start adding a new diagram. So you click on add new diagram, and then you add a table, another table, and then here you have the relationships. Okay, after you click on the table, you can double click on it, you can rename it. For example, let's call this one professors, right? And then you can set a primary key, for example, an employee ID or something like that, and give it a data type. So I'm going to call it employee ID, emp ID, right? And then this one, the data type is going to be an int. If it has letters in it, then it will be a variable character instead, but for now it's just going to be an int. And this is primary key that has to be unique, not like, for example, first name is not unique. A lot of people can have the first name. Same thing even for the last name. Okay, so here I'm just going to put 3 attributes for this one, and only one primary key, which has to be unique, cannot be null, cannot be empty, in other words. And then here I'm going to call this one courses. And then same thing, this one, the primary key is going to be a course ID. I'm not going to change it, an int. And then a course name. This one is not a primary key. This is a variable character. And maybe a course description. Okay. So I have 2 tables, right? And then now I can build the relationships between those 2 tables. If I say, for example, that professors can teach many courses and courses can be taught by many professors, that's a many-to-many relationship. So which is this one, because this one is a one-to-many. In future videos, you can see the difference between the one that is started like this and the one that is continued, and non-identifying versus identifying. And then also you're going to know the difference between a one-to-many and many-to-many. Like, for example, this one is a one-to-one, this is a one-to-many, and this is a many-to-many. I'm going to pick a many-to-many because we said that a professor can teach many courses and a course can be taught by many professors. So we don't build 2 relationships. It's the same relationship that can be read 2 ways. Professor can teach many courses, a course can be taught by many professors. Now in Workbench, whenever you have a many-to-many, Workbench will automatically break it to 2 one-to-many relationships. And then it will add here what we call a composite primary key, which is the primary key of this one and the primary key of the other one, composite primary key. And then manually you can add any other attributes. For example, in this case, for the primary key to be unique, we can also add what's called a term. Okay, so a term, for example, can be added here, and then this one can be a date. For data type, maybe a date.